This is a Climate Craze video from the You Are Not Supposed to Know That files. The Gakkel Ridge heats the Arctic Ocean. However, we don't know just how much this ridge heats the Arctic, but here's what we do know. The Gakkel Ridge is a 1,000-mile-long fault line which lies between Greenland and Siberia. It is the northernmost section of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is found on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean, and which goes through the volcanic island of Iceland. Due to the ridge's location and depth, not much was known about it. It had been relatively quiet for nearly 100 years, but that all changed in 1999. But before going back in time, here's a closer look at the mysterious Gakkel Ridge. Here is the North Pole, here is Greenland, and here is Russia. And then finally, here's the Gakkel Ridge. It is 1,000 miles long, very deep, and cloaked in a sheet of ice. But in 1999, it came alive. As stated in the German Epic website, in 1999, lasting over 7 months, the largest ever earthquake swarm at a mid-ocean ridge was teleseismically registered worldwide. It featured 252 recorded events, including 11 events with a magnitude greater than 5.0. A publication by Geophysical Research Letters published an article showing the vast extent of the 1999 swarm. All those white dots represent the 252 individual earthquakes along the Gakkel Ridge. Another research team mapped the Gakkel Ridge Valley and found many hydrothermal vents and produced this image of a surprisingly large hydrothermal vent plume. Another report also said that numerous thermal vents were ejecting black smokers with temperatures at over 300 degrees Celsius. That's over 570 degrees Fahrenheit. They also discovered other vent plumes, but were unable to locate the venting sources. It's important to note that researchers say that only about 10% of the Gakkel Ridge has been fully explored. A report from the Max Planck Society produced this report. The Gakkel Ridge is a gigantic volcanic mountain chain stretching beneath the Arctic Ocean. With its deep valleys 5,500 meters beneath the sea surface and its 5,000-meter high summits, the Gakkel Ridge is far mightier than the Alps mountains. And here's a report from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, where they have uncovered evidence of explosive volcanic eruptions on the Arctic Ocean seafloor. Scientists did not think that volcanoes submerged under such intense water pressure were capable of such violent eruptions. They also said, "These are the first pyroclastic deposits we've ever found in such deep water, at oppressive pressures that inhibit the formation of steam, and many people thought this was not possible." They go on to say, "This means that a tremendous blast of carbon dioxide was released into the water column during the explosive eruption." They also saw rough shards and bits of basalt blanketing the seafloor and spread out in all directions from the volcanic craters. So far, they have found 3 volcanoes, which have been named Odin, Thor, and Loki. Here is a sectional mapping of the Gakkel Ridge Basin, which is producing significant ongoing hydrothermal activity. It's here that the 3 known volcanoes were named: Odin, Thor, and Loki. In 2008, the New Scientist published an article called "Arctic Volcanoes Exploded at Impossible Depth." They found shattered rock spread over 10 square kilometers, suggesting a series of volcanic explosions. It then said the lava must have contained 10 times more carbon dioxide than the highest value ever measured in mid-ocean ridge rocks. The Journal of Geophysical Research, Oceans, published a report which mapped some sample thermal plumes. This graph shows thermal plumes reaching 5,000 feet above the seafloor. It's important to note that most plumes have yet to be found and mapped, including the short and long-term effects on Arctic sea ice. The Gakkel Ridge research is very slow because it's very cold up there and it's dark half the year. Even in the summertime when there's more light, it's hard to find good exploration sites over the ridge because there's too much sea ice. So until more exploration can be done, the Gakkel Ridge will continue to expel very hot water through an unknown number of hydrothermal vents and produce unknown amounts of hot magma flows. There is also an unknown amount of very hot greenhouse gases being released. As Gakkel Ridge exploration continues, maybe someday we'll know just how much that ridge warms the Arctic Ocean and its effects on the sea ice above.